So you may have noticed more Reddit reaction videos of late because I've been intentionally on a break from Reddit because I wanted to kind of like start up the Reddit coaching experience with my business coaching and online coaching ramping up program. So I took a bit of a break from Reddit, and so basically like I was on Reddit all the time. I was coaching people on Reddit all the time. So I have this groove of coaching that I'm used to, right? Like reading what people are frequently thinking about, and I leave a fair bit amount of comments. I coach a fair amount of people throughout the day, so get a sense of how people react to my coaching and such, right? And I found that since my return, uh, things have changed a lot. And here are some things I'm noticing overall in the online population, and why I think they might be happening. So in general, I find that the uh, people are very cross the point, to cross the threshold of like activation and trigger a lot easier than before. Before it was generally possible to have a conversation about their problems and mental health and such without um going into the activated territory. Of course, it would happen occasionally, but then it wasn't this instantaneous like, "Oh, how dare you say it," kind of like yeah, how dare you talk to me that way kind of a attitude. But these days, I find that the amount of conversations, amount of threads it takes to reach that kind of boiling point has significantly dropped. And another thing that I'm noticing is, in general, people don't seem like they have a good support network. A lot of people feel very isolated. They are accruing up a lot of stress, but they don't really know how to expel it. They don't really know how to work with their stress. That's another observation that I am generally having. And ultimately, I think these two factors make it a little bit difficult for the like unseasoned coach to coach on the internet these days. And I would argue that there's some good in that because it makes coaching a little bit less accessible, which I think it should because it's a completely unregulated field, right? So if you're in coaching for like I don't know, for a hypothetical dream of quick big money, spoiler alert, that's really unlikely that it's gonna happen. The deterrents are basically where the so heavy compared to like the encouragement. So I think there is a little bit of value in that. But also, when coaching people online becomes difficult, it's generally an indicator that people generally are in poor mental health. So why does this happen? My lived experience, my belief is that overall in the world there's less stability, and there's wars happening everywhere. There's new political news, that takes away your attention. Everything makes it feel like you're in times of doom. Prices are soaring high. And on top of that, you have all the previous problems from before, like parental expectations and societal expectations of success, debt, relationships, and all of these compounding, we're kind of going towards this path of like, oh my god, I can't take it anymore. We're going into kind of a collective state of burnout, and I think that there's some danger in that, right? And to find the silver lining, the more people suffer, the more people generally look for salvation, right? So I think this wave will have a renewed interest in mental health. We are going to see a renewed interest in taking mental health a little bit more seriously, and it'll have more eyes on established methods of therapy. It'll have more eyes on alternative therapies. But I think ultimately, um, in the next generation of caring for your mental health, I think it's very important to consider a hybrid approach where for to treat and take care of your acute mental health distress, you rely on the traditional therapy model, and at the same time, I would hope that in the future that there are kind of like more collaborations or like combined packages where you can work with an alternative provider as well as a regulated and licensed provider. I think that will sort of be. I'm hoping that's the trend for the future. Maybe I'm gonna work a little bit towards making that a reality. And what can I do in this case? Well, so I talked about this previously in my other, videos, but how do I personally determine whether you are in the realm of mentally healthy or unhealthy? I like to rely on what we call like the resiliency, right? Just like a balloon, when you press it, it's supposed to pop up. Your mental health, right? When you endure a little bit stress, yeah, you're stressed in that moment, but you should be able to pop back up. It's a lot like the skin barrier theory that I've been talking about in my eczema videos, right? So as long as your skin barrier isn't completely compromised, you can sometimes have the allergen. You can, I can have bread every once in a while now because I have my skin barrier back. But once it reaches the point of, the skin barrier is gone, then any kind of abrasion is going to completely fuck up the skin. It's gonna completely mess up everything. Just like that. If you have like sustained pressure, psychological pressure, if you have sustained stress that doesn't know how to resolve itself, then you kind of start collapsing, right? And that collapsed state is what I generally call mentally unhealthy, mentally unwell. And at that time, it's really good to consult I mean, many people are against therapy. Many people are against drugs. But ultimately, it's to benefit you, right? It doesn't hurt to try it out once, expecting that it may not work on the first try. And the more you can get the aid that you can get from all these different directions, the more it ultimately benefits you. So it's something to consider. And for your convenience, you can kind of assess where you are in on the mental health chart by taking my quiz about resiliency. And you can check that out in the descriptions below.